Tweet streaming now on YouTube. Michael Malice official. Tweet stream is here. All right. Whew. I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but I haven't done one of these in a while. And I thought, yeah, let me see what we can chat about. What do I want to talk about? I'm going to, let me put something on Facebook quick. One moment, please. My computer's been a little slow. Streaming. I want to say screaming now. YouTube. God, I'm such a fucking boomer, huh? Okay. Set. Glory to Hong Kong. Oh, is something going on with Hong Kong that I'm not aware of? Let me check that out. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. What's going on with Hong Kong? Oh, wow. Protests. Okay. Good. They're not backing up. Good for them. Good for them. I'm frozen. Okay, I was offline. Okay, that was weird. Why is my computer being all slow? What is going on here? Why is my video lagging? Stream options. Low latency, okay. I don't understand. I'm gonna close Twitter because Twitter is a memory hog on my computer. Whew. All right. God, I'm so red. Look how red. All right. Protesters came up with their own anthem. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Let me just wait till we get 100 people here. Video output low. This is so... what am I doing wrong? Let me see what I can close. How racist is Gatorade compared to milk? Is Gatorade supposed to be racist? I never heard that one. I'm going to close Firefox. That's what I'm going to do. That should be better. What did I want to... Okay, now I got 105. Video output low. What is the issue here? Man, this is really fascinating live stream, huh? Addled boomer baffled by technology to the entertainment of no one. Jeez, what do I want to talk about? I got nothing, people. I got absolutely nothing. Oh, so, I've been thinking about working on the next book and doing a book proposal, but I've got so much on my plate, I'm not finding the time, and that's really bad. And that's really, really bad. Especially like someone who, for me, when I want to die, I want to leave behind a good library of books I've written, and I've got so many ideas, and the agent thought they were saleable. And it's like, having 2 shows and now working on the other show with Tom Woods, the very failed podcaster, this shit adds up. I am like booked solid all week. And Thursday, thanks to Greg, we're going to Toronto for 4 days. And looks like I won't be guest starring on the Jordan Peterson podcast. That is not going to be happening. What? Oh my God. Should I spoil an upcoming episode of You're Welcome? Because something real... You know what? I'll spoil it. Should I spoil it? I don't know. Should I spoil it? I had Terry Shepard on the show. Terry is a Green Beret, Special Forces, I think, is the term. Just really amazing dude. And I trolled the fuck out of him on the show so badly. Any news on signed copies of the new right? I don't. You see, Kennedy was on Ben Shapiro's show today. I did not know that. That is awesome. I'm sure you guys have seen me. I was just on Kennedy on Thursday, so that was a lot of fun to be back. She's such a doll, and we have a great time. And I have not worn makeup for a very long time in public. So that was a treat to have, when they fuss all over you and then your shirt gets all orange on it. Doug Schoen, who was on with me, really impressed me. He's a lefty, former advisor to, I think, President Clinton, but smart as a whip, honest guy. Can you tell us more about the show with Tom Woods? Sure. So they did a press release. They aired the pilot, I believe, at Freedom Fest or whatever the fuckery was in Vegas. And there was a series of books. Tom was the first one who wrote them, called The Politically Incorrect Guides. It's by Regnery, which is a conservative imprint, which is failing badly. No, I'm kidding. That's the New York Times. And they optioned the book rights, and they're animating it. It's me and Tom, and each episode is the politically correct guide to blank. So it's me and him just as a cartoon, but like a literal cartoon. So if you Google around, I think you'll be able to find the drawings of ours. I look a lot better than Tom in those drawings, let me assure you. So that's where we are with that, and we're recording episodes now. I saw the pilot again. Like I said, they aired it. It was really, really great. Oh man, so yeah, it was. It's really fun because Tom has no problem comedically being the straight man and being the punching bag. And I was concerned because my strategy when I do TV appearances or interviews or anything like that, I always throw in as much jokes as I can and let them worry about taking them out later. So I was going ham with Tom, and he totally gets it. And Tom is such a good sport, and despite being a failed podcaster, very failed, failing badly. So it's a really good. And the thing is, I've also been. Because it's banter, but it's recorded and animated, right? So I sometimes would come up with good lines for him, and he comes up with them too, of course, to dig at me, and we throw those in there after. So it really is something I'm very proud of. And now dinner's done. Oh, so let me tell you guys a little about spite funding. I think I've discovered the most first world problem on Earth. Because spite funding, for those of you, I'm sure most of you know, but what happens is every so often I will have a dipshit. Dipshit's a good word. I like it. Dipshit come at me on Twitter, and I'll say, all right, it would be a big shame if people sent me cash just to spite you. And what do you think of Justin Trudeau brownface saga? Oh, God, it is so fucking funny. It is so... I mean, I'll be in Canada on Thursday. You'll be able to hear me cackling all the way from there, excuse me. So, yeah, I'll be like, it's a shame if people started sending me cash just to spite you. And it happens, and these dipshits don't know what to do because this is something that has been unprecedented historically. I invented this. And then they're like, oh, you're... what are your current macros? Oh, God, do you really want to know this? I can tell you. This is approximately, so it's 251 protein, 300 carbs, and 42 fat. Okay. So... yeah, so people start throwing me cash, these dipshits, then they'll be like, oh, you're a grifter. And I'm like, I'm not promising these people anything. There is not even a pretense that if you give me this cash, it will be used in a way that will help you or help me. It is just, yeah, it's just like this money, I promise you, will be wasted. And then they're like, well, your followers are idiots. And I'm like, yes, this is absolutely true. They're all idiots. And then everyone jumps in, can confirm, yep, that's me. And they don't know what to do. They really have no idea what to do. So the problem is, like, this happened like last week, right? Some real big dipshit just kept doubling down. And they're like, oh, this person just gave you money is an asshole. And someone else like, I'm an asshole too. Here's $5. And it adds up really quickly. Because what happens is, if even 15 people throw in $5, that's $75. $75 is a lot of money. And the principle is this money has to be wasted. But that's like half a flight, you know what I mean? So I'm like, shit, like, what do I want that I don't really want that is completely extravagant and wasteful? And I really, really, really don't like unsolicited advice. So I'm like, all right, so now buy a weird sounding craft beer and review on stream. You are the only reason I keep a Twitter account. Okay, that's easy. Let me write that down. That's an easy one. Hold on a second. Craft beer. I'll do that today. Well, tomorrow. Craft beer. I'm not a beer drinker, but yeah, you have a Brewster's Millions dilemma. Basically, yeah. Preemptive funds for the next dipshit Andrew Cretin. Thank you for your service. So I'm like, all right. I going down different rabbit holes. And the one I went down yesterday, and you know what else happens? Like I'll get up because I'm 90. I will get up in the middle of the night, maybe 8 a.m. I go to bed at 2. I'll go to pee. I'll go online. I'll go back to bed, and then I wake up and I found out I've been down a rabbit hole. So what I found is there's cool pens. So wait, let me show you the one pen I did spite fund. Hold on, give me 1 second. So I talked about this on Nightshade, which is there's an animal called Stellar sea cow. This is on my Instagram as well, which was a manatee relative. It lived in the Commander Islands between Russia and Alaska. It was discovered in like 1741, and it was extinct within 30 years. Well, like, you can get their bones, and this pen is made out of one of their bones. And this was spite funded. I don't need this. Like, I always wrote with these big pens my entire life because they don't make them anymore. And they had an 80s sensibility about them. But I'm like, all right, I can write with, like, cool pens. So, yeah, I found 4 other pens, and that's going to be the next thing to spite fund. One made out of mammoth tooth. One made out of warthog ivory. One made out of amber and wood. And one made out of Fordite, which is really cool. Haters don't know our welcome is being called a cretin. Yeah, it's really funny to me how, and it speaks to their mentality, because they're such a part of the herd, and they get their views from their surroundings because they have no independence or creative thought, that they think that if they go after you guys, you're going to be like, oh shit, someone I've never heard of before, who knows nothing about me, who literally all they know is I follow this one random asshole on Twitter, is comfortable calling me an idiot. Oh shit, there goes my self-esteem. Like, what? So it's the powerlessness and their stupidity is really hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So that's the next rabbit hole. And P.S., do you have a Discord account? And would you be willing to make one? I don't. and I don't think I would. Not that I wouldn't be willing, but I don't see the benefit. And then the cost would be me having. But I'm too old to learn new technology. I also just snagged a pair of vintage seal leather shoes today. Do you like anime? I loathe anime. I hate everything about it. Like, I hate it. And I've had people argue with me before. I'm not hearing it. Not interested. I hate anime. And I'm speaking to you as a comic book character. By the way, this is a fun little trivia note. Ego and Hubris was originally going to be published as a manga. I forget the company. It was Dark Horse, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I was going to be a manga, if that's how you pronounce it. So, Douglas Murray no longer doing You're Welcome. They wouldn't, he couldn't get his visa. He couldn't get his visa in time. So that's why he couldn't do it. And they said, hey, do you want to do it over Skype? And I say, yeah, sure. I don't want to do Skype. It's got to be in person. Would you ever spend it on something practical if people ask? Sure. A lot of times people will be like, spend this money on dinner or buy some nice suits. You're going on TV. I mean, part of being an anarchist is you have to regard contract or your word as sacred because you don't really recognize the law. So that has happened many times. Greg M. Gave me cash. She goes, you have to buy an aquarium with this. I guess that's not practical, but I had to do it. So yeah, and in fact, I've refunded people's money. Someone, a couple of times, people were like, hey, one time this guy was like, here's whatever, it was $20, I think. Send me something cool from your house. I'm like, no, I just sent it back. I'm like, I'm not taking your money and I don't have anything cool to send you. So, yeah. But, so the pen rabbit hole is another one. Oh, and let me show you the pen holder I got, which is also cool. Also spite funded. And there's a story here. So this is made from fossilized walrus tusk. I don't know why I'm so into animal teeth. And the base is Hawaiian Kona wood. And the guy who made this, handmade it, PayPal or the MasterCard, I don't remember which one, won't let him use them as a payment processor because he also sells gun stocks. Not guns, like the stuff that you put for the handle. It's fucking... I mean, the more people realize that they're under siege by this, ideology, the better it'll be for everybody. Whew. Good times. What else can we talk about? If anyone has any, I'll give you some other news. One of the other things I spite funded, it's on my Insta, was a signed copy of Marianne Williamson's book on politics, which I read. Hold on a second, I'll answer that. Which I read, and I'm going to be reviewing for the Federalist. Are you familiar with Comicsgate? I am quite familiar with Comicsgate. I have talked to both Ethan Van Sciver and the other guy. We follow each other on Twitter. I invited them both on. You're welcome. And they're both like, oh, I don't come to New York much. So I'm sorry, familiar is not the right word. I'm aware of it. I would love to be more familiar with it. But my understanding of it is, although it's 101, I think I have a mild understanding of it. And Ethan Van Sciver is one of the great comic book artists of all time. I mean, he's very known for that realistic style, and it reminds me a little bit, and maybe he wouldn't like this or you guys wouldn't get it, of Steve Lytle, who's another great comic book artist who did The Legion, which was my favorite comic book series by far of all time. I was thinking of spite funding and sending the money to political places, but I don't like Gun Owners of America or something like that. That might be a thing. I have no idea. So I think the 4 pens will be cool. The pens look really, really cool. They really do. And I like, me being a hipster, I like it when something looks both classy but unique. Like this pen, the design is, like someone else pointed out, it's meh. It's cool that it's from an animal that was been extinct for like, 200, 300 years, but the other ones look very cool. I'm a mid-20s craft brewer. Everyone I work with is super progressive. Should I switch jobs now? No. Who cares? Any chance to convert them? Why? What do you care what they think? Find your joy, live your best life, realize that they are blue pilled, and that gives you a huge competitive advantage in enjoying life in reality. What difference is it? To quote Hillary, I killed Jeff Epstein. No, what difference does it make? Let them. It's not that you have to appreciate something. It's not that they're progressive. It's that they're mindless. If this was Germany in the 30s, they'd be Nazis, or they'd be communists in the Soviet Union. That's what it is. They're not progressive. They're people incapable of critical thought. There's a very big difference there. And I also let me tell you something else. Because so much of that ideology is about infection and viewing for other ideologies as pathogens, do not engage with them or drop your guard. I think there's no upside. You asked me my opinion, I'm giving it to you. It's like if they thought, this is how you should think of yourself. And all this applies to all of you. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. Imagine if you had a coworker and you found out they're a Scientologist. How would you look at them? How would you think of them? It would always be in the back of your mind, right? That's what you are to them. So be really aware of that. You can't casually be like, hey, just read Dianetics, maybe you'll like it. That's not how it works. That's what you have to appreciate. Ooh. What else can we discuss? Let's talk about. I don't got anything else. Guys, I'm so sorry. Usually I'm a chatterbot. I just came back from the gym and boy, are my arms tired. Um, huh. Let me see. Does anyone have any what do you think would have been your profession if not author, media commentator? Well, I basically have like four professions, right? I think what would be my when I was growing up, I wanted to be a zookeeper. I just love running my mouth, so I don't know. Probably that would be really fun, zoology of some kind. Or stand up, maybe? Oh, let's talk about Dave Smith. Dave and I are great pals. I get Michael Goldstein on to talk Bitcoin. He's got an open invite. We're good friends. We're good friends. Yeah, he's a great guy. Bitstein, absolutely. I'll tell you a Michael Goldstein story. And this is, to me, one of the reasons that Rand gets something very right. The Point of the Fountainhead, if you haven't read it, please read it, and don't read it after Atlas Shrugged, because then it's redundant, and it's, in my opinion, a better book. One of the big points about the Fountainhead is the importance of integrity. And that's something that really hits close to home for me, and it's easy to say that, and then everyone laughs, and whatever. That's fine. And a function of integrity is you have guilt. If you do something wrong, it fucks with your self-image, and you're going to have a lot of guilt. And that keeps you... I love the book, really opened my mind to a new way of thinking. Go buy the most expensive cup of coffee in New York City. I don't drink coffee. I always miss these being in Central Time, but had to stop and quick and say, I love that you do. All that you do. Well, thank you. That's so nice, Caitlin. So yeah, you feel a lot of guilt if you consider yourself someone who tries to act. And integrity, to me, And Nathaniel Brandon, her lover and kind of protege, talked about integrity meaning living consciously. So when you are acting in a certain way, be aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it and the ramifications. And if you're going to be doing something that hurts someone, maybe it's okay, but don't pretend you're not hurting them. And, own it and own your shit. That's integrity. So I remember thoughts on Steve Ditko's objectivist hero, Mr. A. I think it's terrible. I mean, it's just not good. You want it to be good, it's not. The character design of the question is just like one of the all-time great character designs in my view, but it's unreadable. Like that pedantic stuff is just, yeah. I mean, it must have been very edgy for its time, like legitimately edgy, right? Because it's just like this, yeah. Oh, Simon's here. He's coming with me to Toronto, and by Toronto I mean the ice office. Did you listen to Come Town? Get Nick Mullen on. I asked Nick Mullen, he hasn't replied. So, yeah. So anyway, we're talking about Michael Goldstein. So my biography, Ego and Hubris, and there was a copy that just sold on eBay today. We'll get to Dave Smith in a second. We'll talk about Michael Goldstein. And Ego and Hubris is hard to find, but this is before it was like over $100. Maybe it was like $40 at the time. And Goldstein's a young kid. He's not that young, but whatever. He's anti-IP. It's taken me a while to kind of get those cobwebs out of my head, being raised from the Rand School. And he basically told me like, oh, I downloaded Ego and Hubris, like from a torrent site. And I snapped at him. I'm like, well, you could have bought it or something, like it was just like a knee-jerk thing. And he's like, I did buy it. I'm just letting you know in case you want an electronic copy. And I felt really bad. Like, I was like, you know what? Why did I do that? Like, this was face to face. I'm like, it made me feel bad for a long time. I'm like, he didn't deserve that. He was coming at me with niceness, and being friendly and giving me information. And I snapped at him. And I felt very bad about this. And a few years later, I brought it up. And I'm like, when that happened, it still bothers me. I'm really sorry. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, he had completely forgotten it. So it's the kind of thing also, when you try to live consciously, you attach importance to little incidents that often shouldn't, but that's my Michael Goldstein story. Dave Smith, who, again, good pal of mine, I think the world of him, think he's the bee's knees. I just ran into him at the Gas Digital Studio, the Gas Chamber, because I was being interviewed for a forthcoming podcast. I don't know if I can reveal it yet. Anyway, we took a nice walk afterward, talking about his debate with Sarwark. And it's very, very odd for me and Dave to realize that if you sat down and had a list with like, okay, who are the big people, at least in America, pushing anarchism? There's not that many of us. And so it's kind of like being the tallest dwarf, which I can relate to. Thank you, Sakuraba. So it's just like, yeah, like it's on us to, kind of do this. And he was just talking about the debate, and I have heard nothing but negative things about everyone I've talked to. I'm like, hey, should I give this a shot? They say, no, you're just gonna hate Sarwark. And apparently Dave got him to say that we should vote for Hitler if Hitler's the LP candidate. I don't believe in voting. Don't believe in Hitler. Hitler was a loser. Did a lot of damage to Germany, even by Nazi standards, if you want to even forget all the Holocaust stuff. So discredit his ideology in perpetuity. Like, there's no standard by which, you could make the case for him, in my view. So if you want to be a little tongue-in-cheek, the idea in this day and age that Hitlerism would be a model for America is simply fantastic. So Yeah, and just we just walked around, and it was just fun seeing him. And Dave is not a. I'm sure he'd be the first to say this. He's not a debater. He's not an intellectual. He's a guy who is funny and quick and has a point of view. And at its base, anarchism isn't that complicated. It's like it's really bad, morally and practically, to be killing people. Their kids will get upset, and they'll be upset. Living consciously is my comp. Yes, yes, it's your wall. Living consciously is your wall. And he's just like none of the things Sarwark was saying. Kennedy dropped a white reference. So Kennedy says white. She doesn't get that. I called her on it. She doesn't get that from Jared Taylor. She got that from some band. So I don't think she realizes what she's doing. Um, but yeah, so it's also fun for me and Dave to both be on the same network. I think obviously our audiences overlap very, very heavily, but I think we approach it in very different ways. I don't think I have any other than Tom and Matt Welch or John Stossel, I guess. I really try to avoid having libertarian guests. I don't find it interesting. Not whatever. He, is the like people always pitch me, oh, you should have this one, you should have that one. I'm like, I don't care. So they go on his show. So yeah. So I guess he's kind of an amalgam of me and Tom, I guess, except not as failing badly as Tom Woods, who is a very failed podcaster. Oh, so do you want me to spoil the check your Twitter DMs when you have a chance? I don't read my DMs. So Twitter has this function where you could have a quality filter on your DMs, and what I do is I keep my DMs open, and then they get filtered out, and that's on purpose to keep kind of like the DMs I don't want to see out. So, yeah. Any thoughts on exploring Telegram? Not a time sink at all. Lots of Nazis and rejects in between. I don't. The only thing I know about Telegram is that Boris. I know. What's his name? Talked to me about this. Like Milo just went on that tear saying it's a waste of time. I don't see. Again, autism speaks. Boomer talk. I don't see the point for me is of getting a new channel on a new network. I don't understand it. Oh wow. My grandmother passed away recently, and I was at her house going through stuff, and I was wondering if you have any nice mementos of your grandparents. Well, they're alive, but I can show you them right now. Yeah, this will actually be really fun. You guys will appreciate this. Give me 30 seconds. So, thanks, Desi. When I was a kid, we grew up very, very poor. And my grandparents, my grandma's birthday is in May. My grandfather's birthday is in April. And they had these figurines. I guess they bought them here. They're shitty, tacky figurines. They had them in their house, and they were gonna throw them out, even though they were there like all the life I remembered, because they were cracked. And in Russian culture, it's like bad luck to have something broken in your house. I'm like, no, 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 they're getting dusty now. I gotta rinse them. But this is April and May, so this is them, and I'm like, I'm keeping these. I remember these growing up. So yeah, that's mementos from them. And also their chairs they brought over from Russia. I used their chairs in my kitchen. So those are my mementos. I wonder how to wash those off. It's porcelain, right? I could use a wet cloth, I'm sure. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that about your grandparents, though, Hunter. And I love the name Hunter. I hope you had a good memory of hers. Nicholas Holt, have you ever read Lysander Spooner's essay? Defending intellectual property rights. I read the Lysander Spooner Reader, so if it's in there, I must have. Do you think IP rights are compatible with anarchism? Yes, they are compatible. And in the same way that communism is compatible with anarchism. I don't remember any of that essay at all. I apologize. Are these from Petticoat Junction, these dolls? Is that true? I don't know. They're sweet. They remind me of when I was a kid. What is the best way to reach you if not Twitter DM? This is it. I don't like to be reachable. Any good Woodrow Wilson biographies besides 1917? Yes, read The Illusion of Victory. That's not a biography of him, but that's a good one. It's a history of them getting into World War One. I can't think of it. I don't really have a good biography of him. He's not really interesting. Well, what am I talking about? That's a good one to go with. Thank you for sharing those. She was a Hunter. That makes me sad. She was a wonderful person. I loved her very much, and I'm really gonna miss her. Oh, well, I mean, you should feel blessed that you did have such a great grandmother. I think, and not everyone gets to have that. The Machiavellians is proving much more interesting than I expected an 80-year-old history political text to be. Thanks for the recommendation. Okay, listen. A lot of those old books have a lot of quality. A lot of them are torture. I'm not making recommendations lightly. If me and Moldbug are saying this is the one book to read, we're not talking out of our ass. Or maybe we are, but we're still correct. I'm reading a book right now. It's one of the worst books I've ever read. I'm reading it because it's by Larry Rivers, who's the painter, and I'm reading because it's his unauthorized autobiography, right? So if I did Dear Reader, I'm going to read the other unauthorized autobiographies. It's just excruciating. It is so bad. It is so bad. Love the Soder interview. He came off extremely likable. He is. Everyone likes Dan Soder. It was very weird to me to have people say I don't know how to do a Russian accent. It was very, very weird to me. I don't even know how to respond. It's my first language. We speak it at home with the family. I know how to do a Russian accent. Okay, am I spoiling this episode or not? Thank you, Kevin. Did James Duane get back to you? I don't know who that is. I don't think he did. Let me look him up again. James Duane. Professor. Oh, I don't think I ever emailed him. Well, let me see if I don't think I ever emailed him. No, he never got back to me. I did email him. Yeah. Okay, here's the spoiler. I'm happy with this spoiler because even if it's spoiled, watching it, you're still going to enjoy it. Okay? Okay. Terry Shepard. Let me just, you know what, Andrew, I'm going to write that down to email him again. James Duane. That's not a bad idea. Thank you. God, at this point now, the troll in me wants to not spoil it and just kind of keep changing the subject and driving you guys crazy. Anyway. Terry Shepard, Green Beret. He would not like me calling him a Navy SEAL. Real alpha guy. And I've hung out with a lot of people who are super alpha, and they never are macho. Because if a guy can kill you with his bare hands, he doesn't need to tell you this. He just has to sit there and smile and nod, because he knows it's not a thin line between normal conversation and danger. It's not even a thin line between like a bar fight in danger. Like these are very big leaps, because even a bar fight is not dangerous in terms of real long-term injury or death. Worst thing is happening is someone's got a bloody nose, black eye, you scratched up, right? So these guys know. They know the difference. It's, you know, they're trained for this. So it's just really fun, you know, ragging on people like this, because they've got nothing to prove. And like when Janae Marie Kroc was on the show, and I was making fun of her, it was just like, yeah, like I had the squat record. I squatted literally more than anyone on earth. You're gonna call me weak? Okay, sure, I'm weak. So because he's Green Beret and military, done tours, you know, he has a lot of people in the armed services. Any ideas for your next book? Yes, I'm down to two choices. I don't know which I'm going to do. Can you recommend a book on the Soviet Union? Yes. Read The Black Book of Communism, Inside the Court of the Red Tsar, Everyday Stalinism, and then when you read all those, Anne Applebaum's book, Gulag, and then Red Famine, and when you read all those, then you read Revolution 1989, and you will see the beauty that is possible on Earth. Okay, so, oh, I guess we're running out of time. I guess I can't tell you the thing about Terry. That's a shame. By the way, one of the things we're doing, we're changing the visuals on your welcome, and they're going to be really, really cool. And I'm not going to let you in on anything, but you'll see. Nate, the producer, is absolutely amazing. And the inspiration, I'll just tell you this, is you're not going to see in the next episode. Maybe we're going to have to work up to it. The inspiration is, are you doing an animated series with Tom Woods? Yes, I discussed that earlier in this episode, Joshua. What book did you mention on Nightshade that you're currently reading? I don't know which one you mean. If you go to my Goodreads, you can see what all my books are and how I rate them all. So the inspiration for all the B-roll, I guess, because we're going to have like background footage. After watching Sarwark Part of the Problem episode, I'm questioning if the LP is simply a conspiracy to bleed votes from Republicans to enact intersectional communism. I guess I can't speak on that, Jim. I'm not a libertarian, and I know they're thinking of running Lincoln Chafee. Lincoln Chafee. It's okay. More power to you. So we're going to have so what Nate did with the footage is, you know, there'll be the two shot, so it's like me and the guest, and there's like empty space in between, and he's like, we should put something in this space instead of just the black background. So we're gonna doing some stuff with that and messing around with it, and the inspiration for that is going to be the video from the movie The Ring, which is really has that air of creepiness, and just eeriness, and that's, so this is the only time I'm gonna let you in on it what it is. But that's, you stay tuned, and I expect a lot of people like, what the fuck is going on there? And I will never explain it, acknowledge it, or address it. So yeah, I am very, very excited about that. All right. I think, okay. If anyone has any recommendations for Toronto, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm doing one show when I'm there, which is going to be a lot of fun. One podcast. Yeah, I have to go and write that article about Marianne Williamson. That's going to be annoying. I got followed, by the way, by Glenn Beck on Twitter the other day, and I found out that Matt Welch unfollowed me. Don't know why. I don't think it's personal. So I'm going to be red pilling the boomers, people. Dinesh D'Souza follows me too. This is happening. And it's thanks to you guys' support. So I'm really thrilled to be given this opportunity to kind of, red pill this country and hopefully burn this cathedral down to the ground, or to some extent. Shapiro doesn't follow me, but Daily Wire does. All right, guys, I think I'm going to bounce. I will talk to you all soon. Tuesday on You're Welcome, we have Carol Markowitz, and she's an anti-Trump, not a never-Trump conservative, writes for the New York Post, and she's going to be the first person bringing a new episode where she's read my book. So I'm going to see what effect it had on someone who's an educated, informed conservative. I'll be very, very curious to hear what's going on there. All right, I will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for the support. I look forward to your welcome request, Alex Epstein. Yeah, I have to get him on. That's a no-brainer. He's good night. Thank you, Sakuraba. He's rarely in New York, is my understanding. I think I got into it with him because he's one of these like anti-Trump objectivists, because they all have to be, and it's just like, all right, I get it. You guys are sucking Ayn Rand's dick. That's fine. All right, so oh god, I can't wait to go to Toronto. I love Toronto so much. I love Canada. I don't know why. Oh, I do know what I enjoy about it, but I'm really, really blessed. I was just telling it to them today, to have a crew you could travel with. It's really rare to have a bunch of people who all get along and there's no drama and it's always fun and no one has their feelings hurt and you're just making memories and hanging out. It's just very blessed. Very, very blessed. Okay. I will talk to you guys soon. And yeah, tomorrow we got a good episode of Nightshade queued up. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Have a good night, everybody.